Hey, this is Lexi. Book me for singing, songwriting, vocal production, engineering, and lessons through social media at LexCATL. Email at lexisolo@gmail.com. Text me at 404-552-5514 or go to my website, LexCATL.com. Right now, you're tuned in to my podcast, LEXCHAT, which is a show dedicated to music and entertainment, where we talk about the industry and the business, and we help each other to become better artists. You can catch these chats live on Instagram at LexCATL. That's at LEXCATL to be part of the conversation, or catch the replays on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Wherever you're watching or listening, please like, subscribe, follow, and engage with the content by leaving comments and reviews. If you want to go the extra mile in supporting me, you can do so by going to patreon.com/LexCATL, where you can pay a small monthly subscription because every little bit truly does help. This week on LexChat, let's chat about paying for mixing and mastering. Specifically when you actually need to pay for it, when you actually need to pay for it. Before we go any further, you should get every official release mixed and mastered, okay? If you want to compete in the industry on an industry level, you need to be making sure your stuff is getting mixed to industry standard, right? Don't come on here acting like I told y'all not to pay for mixing and mastering. That is not what I told you, all right? But this does bring up the question, well, Lexi, when should I pay for mixing and mastering? And that's exactly what I want to chat with you about today. So if this sounds like a topic you'd be interested in chatting about, stay tuned.
Real men never underestimate the power of a woman, but they do understand she's vital to his plan. You disagree and then I doubt you ever knew one. So I'ma let you in, sit back and take a pen. A real woman, sugar lemon to your tea. A real woman will compliment your everything. So if you plant the seed in water, it grows. But you never had a real love interest and it shows. Real love never had a real love. Real one never had a real one. Real love never had a real.
All right. So the song you just heard is called Real Love by yours truly. Real Love by Lexi. That is from the Love Reset album, and Love Reset is available everywhere on all major streaming platforms, as well as for sale of physical copies. I am selling physical copies on my website, LexCATL.com. That's LEXCATL.com. If you're somebody who loves to experience the music, I like to hold the album, read through the booklet. Sometimes I don't have lyrics on mine this go round, but sometimes you read the lyrics, you read the credits. It's just really fun to hold CDs. If that's you, then you can go to my website, LexCATL.com, to order a copy of your CD today. Make sure you click on the signed option so you can get the CD signed as well. But if you're not into that and you like the convenience of streaming, then it's available on streaming as well. You can go to Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, everywhere by searching Lexi, LEXC. And that is Real Love from the Love Reset album. Alrighty. Before we get into the topic at hand, the next coffee date. So I'm filming this episode super early. All right. The next coffee date is going to be May 5th, 2024. All right. By the time you see this episode, the coffee date will have passed for April 7th. I'm sure it went great, But the next virtual coffee date is going to be May 5th, 2023 at 3 p.m. I'm not going to do an in-person coffee date for April because I'm going to be out of town. Usually coffee dates will be every other week, but I'm not going to be in Atlanta for that Sunday. So there's not going to be an in-person one in April. All right. So the next virtual coffee date is going to be the first Sunday of May. That's May 5th, 2024 at 3 p.m. Make sure y'all mark your calendars, please, and thank you. I want to give a shout out to my patrons, Mr. Flash Shoals and Eldon Cleary, for helping this content to be possible. They are loyal and consistent supporters on Patreon. I really appreciate them so much. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. If you want to become a patron of mine, go to patreon.com/LexCATL, patreon.com/LEXCATL. Alrighty. And this is going to be the last time I say this announcement. I'm keeping Lex Chats short, 30 minutes or less, because I want y'all to get the content quickly, get what you came to look for, and then get out and go and apply it. But the biggest thing that I need y'all to remember, I have the new YouTube channel, Lexi Likes. All of the LexChat podcasts on YouTube, they will now be posted to the Lexi Likes YouTube page. I will no longer be posting it to my Lexi YouTube page because I want to keep the Lexi YouTube page all about the artistry and the singing and the voice. Alrighty. So please go subscribe to Lexi Likes on YouTube at Lexi Likes at LEXCLIKES. Lexi Likes. All right. Please go show that channel some love. It's very weird not seeing the amount of subscribers and the amount of viewers that I'm typically accustomed to seeing. All right. That was the last order of business I had for announcements. Let's get into the topic for today. Anybody who's tuned in live on Instagram, y'all got to see my nails, but I'm going to show the camera because I didn't do it last episode. I'm just so happy to have my nails done. Oh, they're so pretty and they're classy and they're simple. But let's get into the topic for this Lex Chat. Today we are talking about mixing and mastering artists. When should you pay for it? When should you pay for it? All right. When should you pay for it? So got a couple bullet points I want to get through, 2 sections of this Lex Chat. All right. First one, I want to talk about the artist creative cycle that all artists go through. And then the second point, I'm going to give you my recommendations and my reasoning behind them. Alrighty. If anyone who is tuned in on the Lex Chat live wants to give their input, then please feel free to do that. I'll try to make sure that I pay attention to y'all as well. But let's get into it. So what is the artist creative cycle? All right. Every artist, we all go through a creative cycle. All right. We go from writing to recording to picking the songs for the project, and then we mix and master those songs, and then we do photo shoots, video shoots, music videos, photography, I already said that, and then we do promo, marketing, performances, radio interviews, press, all that kind of stuff. And then we repeat the cycle. Every artist has a creative cycle that we go through, okay? Think of it as a workflow, kind of, although I don't love saying it that way because a workflow could just mean how you tackle projects, right? But every artist goes through this cycle. One more time, write the song, record the song, pick songs for the project, mix it, master it, photo shoots, video shoots, music videos, and then you do promotion, performances, interviews, press, and then you repeat the cycle. Right? That is the creative cycle that artists go through. Some questions that I want to ask y'all. Are you a new artist? Okay. If you are a new artist, then maybe you're not exactly sure of how the creative cycle works. Maybe you're not sure about recording. Maybe you're not sure what mixing, mastering even means. Maybe you just don't yet have enough development to understand the importance of knowing when to pay for certain things and when to do certain things, right? And then I would also ask, if you're not necessarily a new artist, where are you in the cycle? New artist or not, where are you in the cycle, okay? Are you at the writing stage? And a lot of times the writing and recording stage can be the same thing. I know for myself, I don't really write anymore. I'm pretty much recording thought to microphone in the studio, but I'm spoiled like that. If you're a newer artist, you might want to do a better job of planning your sessions by having your songs written in advance. That's another conversation for another day. But oftentimes writing and recording will be the same part of the cycle. Which part of the cycle are you in? All right, that is going to determine a lot for this conversation. What's up, Greg Keys? Welcome to the Lex Chat. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so now that you know what the artist creative cycle is, right? You got to ask yourself, where are you in this creative cycle? And once you figure that out, what's next, right? So when to pay for mixing and mastering, all right? I have a general rule about this, and I would say that you should generally mix and master your songs, mix and master your music when you are planning to officially release the music. So I mentioned it earlier in the introduction of this LexChat that if you are wanting to compete on an industry level, you need to do things kind of in an industry way. Now, I know some people will give me pushback. Nah, I'm different. I'm different. I'm unique. You know, I just need to stand out. If your sound quality sucks, nobody's going to want to listen to you. And when we're talking about industry standard, we're just talking about from a sound standpoint. What is music? Music is sound. How is it perceived? It's heard. It's listened to. We take it in through the ears. It's a hearing thing, right? If you don't sound good, the definition of noise is like unwanted sound. Matter of fact, let me look this up real quick. The definition of noise: a sound, especially one that is loud or unpleasant or causes disturbance. Okay? So the definition of noise, at least my definition, is basically unwanted sound. Something that's unpleasant is something that you don't want to hear. So the least that you can do as an artist, your main medium is sound and audio. You need to make sure your stuff sounds good. So as a general rule of thumb, before you are planning on releasing music, is it going to be mixed and mastered? If not, are you ready to compete on an industry level? You want to be big like Beyonce, but you're not getting your records mixed and mastered. Or you want to be big like Future. You want to be big like Lil Wayne, like Jay-Z, but you're not getting your records mixed and mastered. They don't have bad sounding records, okay? That's something to consider. And at the very least, even if nothing else is industry standard, because that's up for debate, even if nothing else is to that standard, your sound needs to be on point. So as a general rule of thumb, any music that you officially release needs to be mixed and mastered, okay? So now, I do not recommend coming out the gate getting everything mixed and mastered. Here is why. Do not pay for mix and mastering right out the gate. Now, it hurts me a little bit to say that because, of course, as an engineer, I want your money. But as a creative who understands how expensive this is, and as a creative who has to be creative with more than the music, I gotta be creative with my budget. I'm gonna tell you, especially if you are a new artist. So the main instance I'm talking about, right? If you are a brand new artist, you do not need to come out the gate getting your stuff mixed. If you are a returning artist, maybe it's been a while for you, then I would not come right out the gate getting anything mixed, right? So my reason for that is, if you are a brand new artist, I would not recommend that you just jump into everything getting mixed because you're brand new. You're still finding your voice. You are still finding your sound. And the biggest one that gets overlooked a lot, you are still learning how to record a song. So it's not really enough to have the talent of singing or the talent of rapping. There is a way to record a song to make sure it's going to sound its best before it even gets to the mixing and mastering stage, right? If you do not know how to stand in front of a microphone, if you don't know how to use the instrument of your voice, right? So when you have more force, when you are being lighter with the delivery, when you are injecting more air into your vocals versus when you might be belting out your notes, right? There's a science to recording. You can't just I don't want to do it because my signal is already crunchy right now. Like, because I'm so far away from my microphone, I turn the signal up very much so. All right. But we need to give like an audible representation of this, right? So if I am a singer and I'm inexperienced and I want to belt out a note, this is going to be very painful for anybody who's going to be listening on headphones. But let's say I'm doing Real Love and I'm a new singer and I know I want to hit these really high, heavy notes, right? These heavy hitting notes. What's that song? Never had a real one. Never had a real love. Now, I'm so sorry to do it to you. My voice, my mouth was physically 3 to 4 inches away from the microphone. And I'm singing that super high note. An experienced artist would know that you can back up off of the microphone a little bit, you know? You can back up from the mic if you're singing louder, bigger notes. When you're singing softer, more airy, soft delivery, that's when you lean into the mic and you get closer. So what's like my song Make It Home, right? I have this falsetto in there. I hope you make it, so ride it with patience. So on that make it, I flip into a falsetto, right? Well, the microphone is like a foot away from my mouth right now. I hope you make it, which is nice, but now the mix engineer has to go in and they gotta turn that up more because you're so far away and you're allowing more room noise into the recording, right? Which can be a problem. It might not sound the same as the rest of what you're recording because you allowed too much space between your mouth and the microphone. An experienced artist knows that when I'm hitting falsettos, I can get closer to the mic. So maybe just a fist, right? This is like within 3 to 4 inches of the microphone. I can be there. I hope you make it, so ride it with patience, you know? So anybody who's listening live, y'all probably didn't catch that, but anyone who's listening back on YouTube or on Spotify, the podcasting platforms, some of that was probably really hard to hear. But an experienced artist knows the science of recording, knows how to record, knows how to manipulate their voice to be heavier, to be lighter. And as a new artist, you just don't understand those things yet. And so you're not giving your best performance, alrighty? And you haven't quite figured out the instrument of your voice and how to use it in its entirety. So you got to learn your instrument, which is your voice, how to manipulate it, how to get the sounds out of it that you want. And then you have to learn how to record that instrument. You don't need to be mixing just yet, okay? Get some studio hours under your belt. You need to be a master at recording. And then being a performing artist is a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother conversation. There's a difference between recording in the studio and there's a difference with how you use your instrument in the studio versus how you use your instrument at a live show, at a live performance. So that's another conversation though. But as a new artist, like I said, you're finding your voice, you're finding your sound, and you are learning how to record. When it comes to finding your sound, you may not even necessarily know, like you know what kind of music you want to make, but then you start making it and you might discover that your voice is not quite suited for the type of music that you envisioned yourself to be making. Or maybe you need to refine how you sing for that music. So finding your sound, finding your voice, what is your style sound-wise and vocal performance-wise, you still need to find that. So I would say, let's get 10 to 25 songs under your belt before you consider getting something mixed and mastered, alrighty? If you are not a brand spanking new artist, if you are a returning artist, then I would say maybe give yourself 1 or 2 sessions, like 4 to 8 hour sessions, all right? Give yourself a couple more sessions before you decide to jump in with mixing and mastering as well. Because someone, like I was working with an artist the other day, and this artist has taken off like years. It's been years since this artist came to record something. If you are not making sure that you are singing every day, despite not being in the studio, your voice is like a muscle. It might not be strong enough to give the performance that you thought it would give when you came to the studio, even though it's been like 4 years since you've recorded anything and since you really sang for real like that. So your voice is just not exercised. It's not conditioned. Because it's not conditioned, it's not going to be as clear as you want the delivery and the performance to be. So that's why even if you are a returning artist, you might know how to record, but your voice is not conditioned. It's not in tip-top shape to record, to give the clarity. All of these things really makes a difference when you are in the studio, when you're being an artist, you know. My thought escaped me just now, so I'm sorry. So let's see. Brand new artist, still finding your voice and sound. Brand new artist trying to master the recording process. We covered that. And how you have to get good at recording in the studio. All right. If you're getting back into recording, get used to recording again. And then my recommendation would be build up a small catalog of songs before you go mixing and mastering everything. Alrighty. So in finding your sound and finding your voice, you will naturally progress, right? The more hours that you put into recording, the better you will get at recording your instrument, the better you get at performing with your instrument, the better you get at controlling the clarity, and then you start to get better at your songwriting naturally. You start to take chances with how you're singing. You start to take chances with cadence and melody and flow and harmony, and you just start to find a formula for yourself that works, all right? There's no way you're gonna get that in the first 1 or 2 sessions, the first 1 or 2 hours, all right? So you need to put in the practice first. Build up your catalog. Now, once you build up a good collection of songs, I would recommend 10 to 25. I don't know how much studio time that equals, but let's say I do, on average, it's really like 6 to 8 hours per song for me from top to bottom. But let's say you need 4 hours per song, right? And I'm telling you to get 25 songs in your catalog. That's 100 hours that you need to put in recording, right? It's 100 hours. Jaleesa says, we'll be catching the replay. Have a good day, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in, Jaleesa. Please do catch the replay. This is really good information. But yeah, let's say I recommend you do 25 songs before you decide on mixing and mastering. If there's 4 hours per song, you need to spend 100 hours in the studio recording, getting better, right? And then you will naturally hear that progression in your recordings. You will naturally hear the confidence in your voice. Even things like knowing how to convey certain emotions through your voice. That's something that you're just not, unless you're just this amazing prodigy like Michael Jackson or something, that's something that just usually does not come on the first few sessions for artists, okay? So you'll start to notice the progression, you'll notice the improvement, and then you might even notice a trend in the kind of production that you're choosing. You might notice a trend in the kind of melodies that you use, and then that's when you can take a step back and look at your catalog and say, I want to do an EP. I really love these 5 songs. Let's do something with these 5. At that point, you can decide, all right, let's go forward with mixing these 5 songs. Or you can say, I really love these 5 songs. Let's review them. Let's have a listening session with trusted people and let's tweak them. Let's go back and make sure that the delivery is on point for every part of this song. Let's go back and make sure that the enunciation of the words is on point. The emotion is on point. The songwriting is on point. All of that stuff. The harmonies is on point. All of that stuff. And then you tweak it, and then you send it off to be mixed and mastered, okay? Mixing and mastering is making it radio quality, distribution ready, industry standard, industry level. So these are my recommendations on why you don't need to be paying for mixing and mastering out the gate. And I hope that I did a good job of explaining to you why that is. And, I just want us to be better as creatives. I want us to be better as artists. And I know how expensive it is to be an artist. And I do a lot on my own because it's very expensive being an artist. And I understand that. So I just want to offer any newer artists out there or returning artists, you don't feel pressure to spend all of this money up front. There is room for enjoyment and development and progression before you go spending a guap on all these things, all right? Music is a very difficult industry to be part of, and you won't make money for a very long time. You will put in more hours before you see the type of investment that you want, okay? That's just the type of industry it is. So if I can help artists to get more bang for their buck, then that's what these Lex Chats are all about. That's what the coffee dates are all about. And I really do I hope that this information helps you. So let me know what you found most helpful in the comment section down below. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified each and every time I post a new piece of content. I want to offer this value, so make sure you're tuning in to get these gems, to get these deposits, alrighty? I want to give a final shout out to my patrons, Mr. Flat Shoals and Eldon Cleary. Thank you guys so much for supporting me and being consistent patrons on Patreon. If you would like to become a patron of mine, you can go to patreon.com/LexCATL. That's patreon.com/LexCATL. And remember the next coffee date, if you are interested in more talks like this and in a creative community. The next coffee date, the next virtual coffee date is going to be on Sunday, May 5th, 2024 at 3 p.m. Okay? The next virtual coffee date, Sunday, May 5th, 2024 at 3 p.m. Alrighty? And remember to subscribe to the Lexi Likes YouTube page. I would greatly appreciate that. Please, please, please. And yeah, that's all I got for you. I really hope today's topic was helpful. My name is Lexi. Until next time, peace.
Baby boy, you need protection. Might not be physically, but I can keep your secrets like a diary. I'm your keys. Real woman always keep it real with ya. And if you're struggling mentally, she'll be strong enough to deal with ya.